All right, so sorry guys for keeping you waiting. We do have a bunch of people joining in, and so far, like we have 10 people. So it would be nicer if we can have more people to join, and I'm certainly on the lookout for more people to have active collaboration within this event. And essentially, it's going to be like skilling up people in AI agents. And yeah, that is going to be very good, given that we will be learning quite a lot about AI agents and building them from scratch. So I will be waiting just a few more minutes, and I will be getting started right away whenever I sort of like have this capped participant count ready. Yeah, my I believe I've like reminded people or reminded everyone, but yeah, I'm just checking in. They might be delayed.
They might be delayed.
Okay, so the audio is working. Yeah, I was checking if my audio was working or not. So yeah, audio is working, and I believe we have the basics down. So the next thing now, I think we can take a look at AI agents. So let me just quickly, just have a timer up for myself for 5 more minutes, and then we will be getting started right away. Okay. All right, just a few more minutes. It seems like there is a delay in serving these messages to people. So yeah, I'll be just getting it started right away. So please bear with me. Right. So all right. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Sorry for the delay. I wasted sort of like 20 minutes on trying to get my Azure Studio like set up. But right now we will be taking a look. Like we have a total of 12 people in the meeting, and that is good. But right now we will be taking a look at the Azure Machine Learning Studio. And then you know what? I can just quickly, if I can just go ahead and share my screen. So let me see which window. How about entire screen? So that makes sense. So I have started sharing my entire screen, and we are right now sort of like the interface inside of the interface for our Azure Machine Learning Studio. And essentially this is going to allow us to run like interactive notebooks, and then that's like super exciting stuff which we have built so far. And essentially there are like things that will become more apparent as you begin to dive deep into the concepts of essentially like AI agents and sort of like that sort of stuff. So yeah, right now we have to just get into this arena of getting ourselves right, and by placing ourselves right within the sort of like this concept of AI agents. And essentially, all AI agents are essentially like when you have an LLM, you have an intelligence, you have a brain, essentially, and you can provide it sort of like some toolkits to interact with an environment, not just perceive information. It can perceive information, it can basically process that information to curate certain decisions, and then basically based on those decisions act in that environment to carry out certain tasks. And that's what all everything that there is to know about AI agents, in terms of like if you're talking about the gist of AI agents. And there are like the concept of multi-agent systems. Essentially, like if you have a task, it's much better to have sort of like a lot of agents interacting with each other, just like human societies interact with each other, and just try to solve a problem with collaboration. And essentially that's the same logic that we have applied within the camel AI library. So today we are going to be using the camel AI framework, the machine learning framework for Camel, and then we are not machine learning, but like the AI agent framework for Camel. And essentially, we're going to be using the Azure OpenAI models and the Claude for Anthropic endpoints to essentially simulate an AI agent society. So essentially, like a society of AI agents will be like there will be 3, 4 agents in a simulated environment, and they will be given tasks. They will be assigned specific roles, like, hey, you are a research assistant. Hey, you are a task assistant. Hey, you're sort of like the are responsible for deriving conclusion, or you're responsible for steering a certain research assistant in a certain direction or not. And essentially all of these research assistants will go back and forth, and essentially after going back and forth, they will eventually basically like interact with each other in a collaborative environment, and in the end generate a conclusive results that we can all look up to. So yeah, right now let me. I was wondering how many people are there. So we have 13 people, which is good. So thank you for stopping by. Perhaps we can wait a few more minutes, and I will be just getting started right away, like with all the content that I have to offer. So yeah, just a few more minutes. All right, so thank you guys for waiting. I, was trying to make sure that my API keys in my environment were set up. So yeah, not to expose the confidential API keys. It's a like a very big deal for me because I do have like paid API keys for OpenAI, and my Azure OpenAI endpoint is certainly not going to be rate limited by a few, so I cannot expose them. So yeah, I was trying to set up API keys. So essentially, yeah, I can start sharing my screen and. Let me just see how much do I want to share. So I can share my entire screen, and yeah, we will be launched into a Azure Machine Learning Studio notebook. And essentially, like I by default already installed like the default packages that we would like to use. And yeah, the packages that we would like to use is pip install CamelAI and Anthropic. And these are like the holy grail of the packages that we are going to be using today. And essentially, for building these multi-agent systems, we require these packages, and essentially we will use an LLM API endpoint from Anthropic and from the Azure OpenAI endpoints, and essentially we're going to be wrapping them up within the CamelAI agent classes and just creating a multi-agent society, essentially just going back and forth and just creating a multi-agent society that is going to research on a curriculum on a topic. So yeah, that's very interesting. So yeah, that is certainly going to be interesting. So as you can see, I've already installed, and if for by default, it's like it was going to take a lot more time for like this command to run pip install CamelAI because it's a big library. But yeah, so I just pre-ran this to save time, even though like we wasted 30 minutes trying to get everyone on board. But yeah, that I wouldn't mind that. But right now yeah, right now I can just set up my desk. Yeah, lot. I did not prepare this beforehand, but I think it will work out just fine. Let me see. Okay, can I type now? Okay, okay, great. So now I believe, so I can just set everything. So for a few tasks, we are also going to be importing the operating system, the OS module, and we're going to be setting up a few API keys. And yeah, I have to set up API keys to make sure that our program is executed in the end, and that is important. So essentially, what we can do, we can say os dot get env, and it's going to be our Azure OpenAI API key. So if it is not that, then we can simply say os.setEnv, and essentially we can set our environment variable using operating system module, and we can ask the user Azure OpenAI API key equals get pass, and enter your API key, enter your Azure OpenAI API key. And we are going to be doing this 3 times over for Anthropic and yeah, for Anthropic keys as well. And we are also going to be doing this for our Azure OpenAI endpoint as well. So essentially, we need 3 API keys. We need an API key we need an endpoint for Azure OpenAI models. We need an API key for Azure OpenAI. We also need an Anthropic API key, so we can change its name to something like Anthropic API key. And let me just quickly copy my API keys, so not to expose them. I perhaps should try. I should perhaps stop sharing my screen and see. Let me just quickly set up my API keys, and yeah, just in no time I will be setting up my API keys because let me find them. Where exactly are my API keys? Let's see. Okay, I found the document that there, and I'm not sure. Am I sharing my screen? Okay, no, I'm not really sharing my screen. That is good. So yeah, let me just, I'll just try to do everything. Let me just introduce this into our cell. And what are the kinds of imports that we need to make? Essentially to run this. And yeah, I'm just going to be quickly running this. Oh, my kernel stopped. So essentially my compute agent kernel stopped. I'm not sure why did it stop, but Yeah, let me just quickly provide our API keys. Let's share our screen back. And essentially, in this session, we are going to be building like an AI agent society. So yeah, we can bear in mind that we will be using Camel AI module, and we will be using like API keys, a bunch of API keys. We will be using OpenAI, as I said, Anthropic and Azure OpenAI endpoint URL, which is needed exactly to pinpoint, hey, where exactly your model lies. So yeah, that's where exactly how we are going to be accessing the OpenAI model from Azure. So yeah, we have a few imports. So we have from camel.messages, import chat agent. We have from camel.agents, import chat agent, camel.messages, import base message. We have camel.models, model factory, model.azure OpenAI model. We are importing Azure OpenAI model class. We are importing task class. We are importing toolkits and function tool and search toolkit. We're also importing like model platform type. Like if you are using other models that are not Azure OpenAI models, you will have to import like model platform type. And we are going to be using this for Claude models. And yeah, we have Camel Society's workforce. So to create like a back and forth, sort of like a collaborative agent society, we will need to make sure that we have sort of like a base class that we can put everything together. So we can use workforce class to just orchestrate all of these AI agents together, and we will be able to create a like collaborative AI agent research society. So I've copied and pasted a bunch of these API sort of like if conditions. So yeah, essentially, eh, yes. I'm not sure why. Okay. Waiting for the compute to start. So it says my compute is stopped. Let me check. Okay, run this. It's queued and the compute is starting. If you have any messages, okay, it's starting, so we can wait for a while. Meanwhile, I can just quickly copy my API keys. I still haven't copied my API keys because I have to put them manually, and yeah, that it's just waiting a few time for getting. It's just taking a few minutes for it to run essentially. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. It's is it running? It's still queued. Okay. Let me change compute. We have Azure SDK. It's come on, run it. Why are we not running it? It's still queued. Let's try something different. We have our mic. Yes. Um, okay. Now, like everything is working now. Our computer is running. We have our sort of like our API keys to set up. So let me just quickly, hide my screen and try to quickly just set up my API keys. So my Azure OpenAI API key. Let me check it. My Azure, my Camel key. I know my okay, I know my Azure OpenAI API key. This is my Azure OpenAI key. I would like to set it. So here is my Azure OpenAI key, submit. Azure OpenAI endpoint. We need an Azure OpenAI endpoint as well. And where exactly is my endpoint? So here is my endpoint. Let's quickly provide confidential API keys and endpoints. Anthropic API key. Let's see, where is our Anthropic API key for using Claude 4. And hopefully this will work just fine. Submit. Set up optional API keys. No, we don't want to set up optional API keys. And yeah, it seems like we have executed everything. So yeah, let's share back my window. Okay, yeah. So now that we have set up everything, we have set up all of the API keys in our environment. And I'm not setting up optional API keys for like Google search functionality because we are only going to be using the knowledge base within these LLMs. So yeah, right now Google API key, I'm not going to be utilizing them. So I will be adding a new code block, and just for this code block, I will be creating our AI agents. And for creating our AI agents, we really need to just create a sort of like a class of Arena Research Society. So essentially, like I'm just simply not going to be typing this out by hand because I have already prepared this for in advance. So yes, we have a class of Arena Research Society, and essentially like Arena is something like an online AI alignment curriculum, which is very verbose and vast. And essentially, it encompasses quite a lot of content to build and just research quite a bit. So essentially, we are going to creating a class, and essentially we can run this and create a new cell out of it. So it did by default, like this class does nothing. It's right now it has like a initialization function which does sets workforce variables, and it sets up like a few API keys. And then we have a function set up API keys, which just basically does everything that we just did, but it checks like, hey, if the environment has API keys or not. And if it does not have any API key, we are going to ask the user again for an API key. And now the actual sort of like the nutty like the nitty gritty stuff actually starts to become apparent. We have a function inside of our research agent which essentially says like create Azure agent. And we are basically like have a bunch of like roles to give it. We are like giving it, hey, you are a role name. So we essentially define when we create this agents, when we initialize, create an instance of this class, we define, hey, you are a researcher specializing in AI alignment and safety. We give it some prompts that our first agent is going to do. And yeah, it's going to be using Azure OpenAI GPT-4o Mini to essentially curate into a chat agent, and it's going to interact with other agents as well. So meanwhile, we are at it. Let's create our Claude agent as well. And I will be sharing this notebook with all of you if that are present here. And essentially inside of this function, we are taking the same prompt, but tweaking it just a bit so that it's also a researcher specializing in AI alignment and safety. But now we're going to be changing its back end from GPT-4o Mini to basically, essentially, we are going to be integrating a sort of like a Claude agent instead. So as you can see, we have a defined create Claude agent, and we have a sort of like system message, base message dot make assistant message, and this is our system message content. Like you are a research specializing in AI alignment and safety. You have a persona, you have a specialization, and when collaborating, if you're like collaborating with other AI agents, provide thorough, nuanced analysis, and we're doing some prompt engineering for the agent to get things right and essentially provide really good high quality content. And yeah, essentially, like we are going to be using Azure, like we are already using, like, so we can recap a bit. What have we used? We have created an Azure agent. So we have used GPT-4o Mini from Azure OpenAI. And if you want to deploy an Azure OpenAI model, you can head on over to Azure ML, I believe it's Azure OpenAI within the Azure Studio, within the Azure portal, and then you can check out your Azure OpenAI deployed endpoints via Azure AI Foundry. So yeah, that's something that you can take a look at. It's pretty interesting. And we are simply using the Azure OpenAI model class from CamelAI, putting our endpoints, putting our API keys, creating an AI agent. It's a chat agent, and essentially it's going to chat with other AI agents to research on a knowledge base that it already has around the arena research and alignment in AI safety. So we have created our Claude agents. We have created our sort of like we have created like Azure agent. We have created a Claude agent, and like what's next? Like we have created two agents. That's okay. We have created two agents back and forth. Now this is actually the main stuff. This is the research workforce. So essentially, if you're trying to build a research society, and what exactly is a society? Society is a collaboration amongst humans. Like in human society, there are multiple people collaborating with each other to solve a task. There are like interns, they're like managers, they're like researchers, and if there are solely, if it's a research lab, there are like research scientists, software engineers that are like pushing the boundaries of what AI can do. And essentially, we are applying the same logic by creating a research workforce. We're orchestrating the previously constrained or previously created these AI agents. We are orchestrating them, and yeah, essentially, we are creating like multiple versions of them. So essentially, as you can see, like we have Claude lead, we have like one AI agent like Claude lead, like self.create Claude agent. Hey, you are a Dr. Claude alignment. You're like the lead researcher in the team. And then we have another Claude ethicist. Hey, you are a Professor Claude ethics. You are a like professor of ethics. You need to make sure that everything. You need to discover the ethical implications of AI safety and long-term consequences of AI development. We're assigning different sort of like specific goals for each of these agents as they are sort of going to be researching for the AI alignment and safety curriculum. And you have Dr. Azure Technical, like we have created two Claude agents and two Azure agents. So yeah, we are creating like Dr. Azure Technical. Hey, you're a detail-oriented technical expert who dives deep into implementation specifics and mathematical foundations. Excellent. So yeah, it's like Azure Agent or GPT-4 Mini in this case, deployed by OpenAI, is going to take a look at our reinforcement learning from human feedback for implementation techniques and neural networks. And we have like two agents with Azure that we have created. And yeah, essentially this is some initialization stuff, and we are essentially creating a workforce. A workforce is going to orchestrate all of these four agents together. So we have two Claude agents, two Azure agents, and we have assigned them different roles. One is a professor, one is a doctor of researcher, one is a technical like engineer, and then other is like the practical research, applied research specialist. And we are creating a workforce around them. And essentially, we would like to see them collaborate in real time. So we can perhaps, go ahead and try to provide another sort of direction. So far, let me see. So uh, okay, so far, how have we done? We have already created our agents. Now we need to assign them a task. Like we have already like provided them a system message. Like okay, here are four agents in a research workforce. Here is a workforce. Here are four agents, and each of that agent inside of that workforce has a specific system message. So like by default, whenever they're like initialized, they have a system message like, oh, I was created to be a research specialist. I was created to be a doctor of ethics. I was created to be a practical applied research scientist, or I was created to be a deep technical dive specialist. So for like technical analysis, for mathematical foundations and implementation specifics in neural networks. So, and yeah, next we have that. But now with like, okay, you have created like you have spawned four digital people who can do really high quality research inside of a workforce, inside of a team, collaboratively. Now we need to make sure like, hey, this is your task. This is something that you have to research on. So, and that's what this function under our and arena research class is going to do. So we have create research task, and essentially we have creating an arena context. So we want them to like, hey, there is a site on the internet by the name of arena education, and essentially it's like the curriculum that's put out forward for AI alignment and safety, and it includes stuff like reinforcement learning and AI evaluation and pre-training and transformers and mechanistic interpretability in transformers. And I want you to, go there, not necessarily go there, but I want to fetch content from there, or at least explore the content from your knowledge base for the arena curriculum and condense it down, like research back and forth, like how exactly the course is structured, how exactly the stuff is presented to the people, and how hard stuff it is, what mathematical implications of the course are, and just provide a conclusion. And that's what our create research task does. And essentially now we have the final sort of like the method for our class. We have another function which says run research, and essentially it's like orchestrating everything that we have done so far together. So we have created a workforce, and we have also created sort of like a research task, and essentially it's going to knit the research task and the workforce together and say like, oh, okay, this is the point now. When I call this function from the class method arena research society run research, it's going to initialize everything. It's going to run all of those functions, and yeah, it's going to say, oh, we're starting collaborating research on this research topic, and we are going to go and do more stuff with it. So it's about time that we get to see an interactive demo, and I believe this is the most exciting and probably the best part of this entire series. And if you feel like for some reason we have been going too fast, or there are like a lot of things that have been abstracted away, and you would like to like use them and include them in your own use cases, feel free to go ahead and check out Camel AI. you can check out CamelAI cookbooks, and particularly a cookbook for multi-agent society. So here, as you can see, people have been making like real use case-based projects. Like you can develop a trading bot agent with role playing, so you can have multiple agents that are trying to trade dummy currencies, and then based on actual based on real data, real stock price data, and then actually provide you with some really good uh, high quality bets. But yeah, those might be speculative for most of the people, but yeah, it's something fun to interact with. And yeah, if you feel like you would like to take a look at the API a bit, then everything will become much more clear. But essentially, like one more time, what have we done? We have created a class, an Arena Research Society. Inside of that class, we have basically essentially what we want to do is to create a workforce, and that workforce is going to encompass uh, that workforce is going to encompass like two agents from the OpenAI GPT-4 mini model, and two agents for the Claude for a large language model. So essentially, like you have two brains from different, like essentially like two agents for two different brains from different companies. So we have OpenAI GPT-4 mini, two agents, Claude 4 from Anthropic, two agents, and essentially you assign them individual tasks. Like Claude 4 are like research oriented, so you are a practical research, you're an ethics professor or doctor, and in the Azure OpenAI case, for the GPT-4 Mini, we can say, oh, you're like a deep technical dive specialist, or or something like you are like a specialist in applied research. And yeah, that's what we have done, and we have initialized these AI agents based on these brains or large language models, and in the end, we are orchestrating them inside of a workforce. And yeah, eventually that workforce is given a research task. We says like go over like interact with your knowledge base, like fetch content for Arena AI research alignment, and essentially try to conclude what the course is all about, what are the mathematical implications of the course, how topics are offered, how the course is structured, and all I need is a conclusive research conclusion between your collaborative research on this topic. And then we have a final function, run research. And now this is like the final sort of like the string. So essentially we are giving them sample topics. So yeah, we are giving them like, hey, for this course, specific course, you need to like take a topic like mechanistic interpretability first. So we are giving them like four different tasks or three different tasks. Like for this course, research, like this course has a lot of content, but I want you to conclude the state of mechanistic interpretability from this course. And I'm going to be giving you the first topic, which is mechanistic interpretability. Then I'm going to be giving you the second topic, which is reinforcement learning with human feedback. And then I'm going to be giving you AI governance frameworks for emerging technologies. And essentially, we are going to be feeding our workforce each of the tasks as we move on with each of the tasks. And essentially, they are going to be going and research back and forth, and essentially going to produce like a really conclusive result. So we can run it. So we have Azure OpenAI deployment name. So my deployment name is, perhaps I can, let's see. Okay. Don't want Google API key. And yeah, so as you can see now that our research has started, so we have setting up API keys. API keys are configured. We are saying, hey, Arena AI Alignment Research Society. Now choose a research topic we want to research on. So there are like research topics that we provided, and it's showing us like, okay, for this Arena curriculum, what do you want our research team, like our team of Claude agents, our team of OpenAI agents, to research on, like what topic for that curriculum would you like for us to research on. So let's go with mechanistic interpretability by typing 1 and submitting it. And essentially we are going to be seeing a few things, and we see input should be a valid string, input value curriculum info, input type dict. Let's see, where did we made a mistake? It appears. For further information, okay, let's try running it one more time. How about let me see. We are saying input value curriculum info, input type dict. So perhaps we made a mistake somewhere along the way. So we have type string curriculum info. Let's find our curriculum info variable, and it's inside of our arena context. So let's see where did we make a mistake. Just like create a research task, and let's try uh, to run it again, and perhaps this is going to fix our errors. Oh ho ho! So we have error during research and input value. So it appears we have like encountered an error related to how our OpenAI API keys are configured. But just to get a sense of how exactly the output is going to look like, I can just take a look at our output generated right here. And in the end, I can just simply copy the conclusion and provide you sort of like a sort of like a result of the research that we just created. So we can go ahead and simply add a markdown if we can, and essentially, yeah, inside of this markdown, as you can see, like our agents went back and forth, and you utilize like these agents to research on a topic in the arena curriculum, and they devised all of those topics from the curriculum, and they produced a conclusive research result. And essentially what they discovered was we have key concepts and relationships. We have in this course feature visualization in AI agents and neurons, attention heads or multi-layer perceptron features to map activations to human readable concepts. We have attribution methods quantifying which inputs or internal components, token heads, or neurons casually influence particular outputs via interventions, ablations, or tracing. We have alignment strategy mapping. Uh, okay, we have alignment strategy mapping, and it discovered quite a lot. Like it discovered technical analysis from the course. Like this is the technical content that I found in the course. So we have mathematical foundation, we have QK circuits, we have OV circuits, we have algorithms, attention rollout, we have residual stream analysis, mathematics, algorithms, practical applications. So yeah, this is a lot of cool stuff to discover here. And yeah, essentially that's what we did basically with our AI agent society. And essentially, and okay, my camera bug, apologies. And essentially, what did we discover today, or at least what did we come across? So we tried creating a research society between AI agents, and these research societies within AI agents essentially are going to research on a topic, and we can give a premise, we can create a workforce, and we can assign them tasks, individual tasks, and they will conclude our topics by researching a particular premise that we give them. So that's what we discussed, and all using Azure OpenAI models and Claude 4. And yeah, that's even though we didn't get like too far above by implementing our project right away, but we utilized Azure machine learning notebooks. And Azure Machine Learning Notebooks are a great way to actually, explore your AI research. So you can go ahead and get started on Azure Machine Learning Studio right now by deploying a resource for Azure Machine Learning Studio, heading on over to the notebook section and just deploying a simple compute that you might be having, which is like good enough for your use case or task, and thus simply just go ahead and start experimenting with your use cases. And you can not only that, you can also, deploy OpenAI models, so you can search for Azure, and perhaps our Azure thing is like you can head on over to Azure and essentially sign up with your subscription that if you have one, or if you're a student, sign up for a student subscription, and then go ahead and just start experimenting and creating with Azure OpenAI, and that's about it. I believe that's about it for this session. Uh, and yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I was really I was really delighted that all of you joined to learn a bit more about the future of AI agents and how multi-agent societies are reshaping the future of AGI, or AI, I should say. Like AGI have not been achieved yet, but some people might say that it has been achieved internally. That is a speculative argument to be made. There is a speculative argument to be made there. So yeah, essentially that's all I had for you guys today. If you would like to access the collab cookbook in a more advanced way, feel free to check out CamelAI cookbooks for multi-agent society, and you will be able to find all the content there if you would like to sort of like interact and chat with your own AI agents. So that's about it. We can get started with uh, our farewell, essentially. So once again, thank you so much for everyone for joining this meeting, and I hope you all are having a great day ahead. Thank you. See you. Goodbye.